as I was preparing to do this very thing, which in itself is a leap of faith, a leap of, because I always say that, and like anything else, I'm not really qualified to do all this. But the reality of the matter is when God calls you, you're more than qualified. He qualified you. And so as I was trying to prepare for this, I went into my own thoughts and I went into my own, what I thought I was going to do. I knew about this more than a month ago. So I had a little time to prepare. And I thought I was going to do something else. But over the past couple of days, something really tremendous has happened in my life for me. Because I'm going to get deeply personal this evening. Deeply personal because I have been battling with some things. And I know that this is a battle that virtually, if we have, Miss Betty. How you doing, Miss Betty? We all go through some things and we all have this battle. But this one is really troubling to me because I call myself having hardly any fear. I say hardly because I do fear some things. I have a fear for sure of not doing what God tells me to do. That's a big fear. So I have certain fears that I have to overcome in order to do what God has for me to do. And we all have that. So I'm only going to be dealing with just two scriptures tonight, but these are two very, very powerful scriptures that each and every one of us needs to hold dearly to our hearts when we're going through the things that we're going through and things look really, really funky around you. And they will. They will absolutely not look right. It won't add up. Your math and God's math is two different types of math. That's what I've discovered. If I've learned anything else, I've learned that his math is not my math. His equations aren't my equations. This is my first one. We're going to be coming from Proverbs. And this is one that everybody, I'm sure, knows of. Proverbs 3, 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. Now, this is important for me because, like I said, I'm about to get deeply personal. My daughter has been blessed to obtain some really, really, after all the hard work that she's done, she's been blessed in her life to expand her life. And the beauty about that is she didn't forget where she came from. And she requested that my wife and I come with her. Well, looking at it from the outward, that's a big step. That's a major, major, major step. It can be frightening because first of all, we're talking about a place that I've never been, don't know anything about, and anytime mankind gets into a situation where it's unfamiliar to them, we get a little bit apprehensive. And I'm no different. We get apprehensive, we get scared, we don't know what we're looking at. Yes, we may feel like we're strong enough and big and bad enough to handle whatever comes along, but the truth of the matter is we don't know what's going to come along, especially if you're going to go there without God. So that's a no-no. This week, I was speaking to a couple of co-workers about having to be up here tonight. And I said to her, well, I got to speak tonight on Wednesday night. And she said, what are you going to speak about? And I said, well, I'm going to speak on Well, I told her what I originally had planned on speaking on. And then she was like, okay, that's good, that's good. And then I said, but I'm thinking about speaking on trust, trusting in God. And then she said, well, why should I trust in God? Well, that just kind of threw me completely off. I was not looking for that. I was not looking for her to say that. I was not looking for that at all. So I got thrown aback a little bit. And, you know, I'm pretty quick with it and quick on my feet. So I threw it back at her. Why shouldn't you? But the truth of the matter is, in that conversation, and I truly believe that that was God saying to me, you need to trust me. Now think about the reasons why you trust me. And I never would have thought about any of this had she not said that. So I sat back and I said, wait a minute. Why should I trust in God? Well, I had to think back on the things. First of all, let me give you a little bit of forefront information. So before I go into that, what was troubling me about all of this was that I would be going into an unknown land. I would have to give up all that I have right now, which is, for some people is not a whole lot, but for me it's everything. My job, and go there without a job, go there in a place, I still would have car note that I have to pay. You know, your bills just don't stop. I don't know if anybody knows this or not, but they just don't stop because you moved across town. You know, they don't stop. So I will still have a car note, still have car insurance that I still will constantly that I will have to pay with no job. You know, so all of these things, when you look at them, we would have to pay for the rent that we're still in the apartment that we're at now, even though we're not going to be there because we're essentially breaking the lease by a month or two. We would have to do all these things. And so when you're looking at all of this, it seems insurmountable. It just does. It's like, oh man, and this is all financial stuff. And it just seems insurmountable. Insurmountable. And then on top of that, y'all, I'm old. You know, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. Brother Aubrey, I went to go cut my hair, and lo and behold, looked like I had a reverse fade back there. You know, all of these things begin, you looking at all of this and you're saying, oh my, you just get overwhelmed by what you're seeing and the impossibility of it all. You know, or what seems like the impossibility of it all. Well, that's when this scripture came to mind. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Well, I believe in the Lord, and I honestly believe in his word. And his word does say that it doesn't come back void. Right. It just doesn't come back. So if he told you or he sent you to do something, you can surely believe he's going to make a way for you. Right. All of this takes some doing, y'all, because it's not in my nature or in man's nature to just submit all of that. But my reality is, after going through Easter, I had to think about it. The price that he paid for me, all I have to give, to be honest with you, is me. Just me. And for me, it may not be enough, but for him it's everything because he gave his life for that. He gave his life for that. So I began to ponder in my own mind how all of this stuff, and if you, the next phrase, the next one says, and lean not unto thy own understanding. See, that's the part. For me, that is the part. I'm an analytical guy. I tend to use my mind more than my muscles. I tend to use this. And when I think about it, like I said, the math don't add up. It just simply don't. And I'm saying to myself, oh man, woe is me, what am I gonna? Yeah. So, getting outside of my own mind, I had to come to the conclusion that I had to go back to, and I don't usually do this, but I had to go back because he asked me, he said, why would you trust me? Why should you trust me? And I had to think. When I was getting out of prison, after spending all that time there, I was scared to death the last year or so. Not because I was going to have to come out and face the world, but because I had to come out and face the world. As it is, and I hadn't been in the world for a long time, so it was really, really scary to me, but the main thing that I knew that I had to have was employment. So I was worried to death, who's gonna hire me? I've been in prison all this time. I got a felony, and that's, as long as this is Texas, who's gonna hire me? Well, God has a way of doing things. He heard me. He heard me. He sent a counselor to me, one that it wasn't even my counselor. He sent him to me, and he put me in a program to learn electricity. I went to school for 13 weeks while I was in prison to learn electricity. After I finished that course, I got a job as an intern for a company. That same company hired me while I was in prison. So this is what God had did for me the first time. And then he asked me, are you gonna be like the children of Israel? Is that what you're gonna do? I showed you what I can do for you, what I will do for you. I've done it. You've seen it, you've witnessed it, you bear witness to it. What he meant by, are you gonna be like the children of Israel? It was when they left Egypt and Pharaoh was coming down on them. He put a pillar of fire behind them, and he opened the Red Sea in front of them. The pillar the pillar of fire behind him, in my mind, represents, I got your back. I got you. The pillar, the splitting, the parting of the Red Sea in front of me means I got the path, the way for you to go. They can't follow. No one can follow. You go that way that I tell you to go. I had to think about that. So then I came to another point in my life where I said, okay, that was just one time. Maybe it was a fluke. Maybe it was a fluke. He showed me again. When we moved here to Texas in 2010, I remember this distinctly. My wife coming to me saying, you know, she worked for Capital One, and they were starting a division here in mortgage, and they wanted her to come here. Her and Miss Bebby. So they wanted them to come here. And I remember her saying to me, we're gonna move to Texas. You wanna move to Texas? And I'm looking at her like, Texas? You mean with the 10-gallon hats and the 6-shooters? No, I'm not going over there. What's over there? I'm not going over there. You know, really, that's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought. Oh, no, that ain't gonna work for me. When I got here, again, I had to leave my job, the same job that I had coming out of prison, setting up and establishing all that good stuff. And it wasn't always easy for me and my wife. Right. You know, we was making it. Right. I had to leave the ministry that I had been involved in. I had to leave the ministry that I was involved in. I was with the Anointed Ex-Offenders, going around singing and going into prisons and things of that nature. And I had to leave that and move to Texas. But here, once again, he showed me. He showed me again, I got you. I got you. I got here to Texas, and it was 2 weeks later, I had a job. And things have been going, I'm here in front of you right today, still in Texas, with a job, doing what I've always been able to do. That's because not only will he, if you step outside of your own mind, because believe me when I tell you, it didn't make no sense then for me to come here, and it may not make any sense for me to go there, at least not in my own mind. Because see, in my own mind, I'll say, well, wait a minute. Why don't we just wait and save some money and then make the move? problem with that is this. He didn't say that. He said, go. He said, go. Now, if I take it upon myself, and I have done this in the past, if I take it upon myself, well, let me put it to you like this. Pastor asked me to be a minister. And it's a calling that I've always known that I had, that has always been there. I was ministering when I was in Baltimore, and it's just something that's just innate inside of me. And I've always known that. But I also knew that it didn't take a master's degree in theology for me to be able to do that, because God is the one that commissioned me. So if I had said to my pastor, well, Pastor, I don't think that I'm qualified to do this. Maybe I should just go ahead and go to seminary school for 20 years and get 5 degrees, and then I'll be able to come up here and feel like I'm confident enough to do this. Well, the problem when you don't do what he told you to do or go where he told you to go is you never get there. You never get there. You never get the blessing because you were too afraid to take the steps that you need to take, and you didn't trust that he would have your back, even though he has shown you time and time again. Not once did he show me, but twice in some really, really heavy stuff. That's just the stuff that's prevalent to this conversation. There's other little things, and I'm sure if you look into your own life, you'll see that there are things that he has done for you that only could have been done by him. Yeah. To show you that you can trust him and that you need to trust him. And the thing about trust is always the same. In order to trust, you kind of have to put yourself out there. That's what it's all about. You have to put yourself out there and believe. And see, the thing is, and with people, we don't have a problem with trusting JoJo. We don't seem to have a problem with that. JoJo said that I could. But then you and JoJo get marched off to jail. JoJo said that we could do because you trust in him. You don't have a problem with trusting JoJo. You don't have a problem with sitting down in that chair blindly because you know that the chair is going to hold you, or at least you think so. So you trust that the chair is going to hold. And so you just plop down. You just plop down. Well, that's the same kind of trust and blind trust that you have to have in Christ Jesus. You do have to have that. And it doesn't come easy, and it's not comfortable. It never is. It's never comfortable. But when you do it, the rest of it says, he will direct your path. He will order your steps. He will see to it. And all you have to do is be obedient and go and walk it. Nothing more. Don't think about it. Because if you think about it, you're going to find all kinds of different flaws or in all these different things to prevent you from doing it and prevent your own blessing. But more importantly, sometimes in fact, most times, it's not even about you. That's right. Most time it's not about you. This time it's not about me. This time it's not even about me. I just been shown that I've already been there for you. You can trust me. You know that you can trust me. You want to trust me. I've already shown you what I can do, what I will do, what I'm able to do, which is anything. I've already shown you. But now there are some people out here in our congregation, and this is who this is directed to. This is directed towards all of us. What he has to say tonight is directed towards all of us, because each and every one of us will find ourselves in this position at some point in time. Maybe not to this magnitude, or maybe not in this direction, but with something else. And what he wants you to know is that you need to look back and see what he has done for you already. And when you look back and see what he's done for you, you'll be able to take the step forward with a knowing heart and with a knowing mind. Yeah. And yeah, it takes a lot of faith sometimes. And it's sometimes when I was going through all of this over the last couple of days, faith and trust seemed to be the same thing. You know, it seemed like it. It just seemed like it because they kind of work hand in hand. The other thing that I have other scripture that I have, is I didn't bring my spectacles. You know I'm wrong. You know I'm wrong. Is Psalms 56, 3 and 4. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The word reads, when I'm afraid, I will trust in you. In God, I will praise his word. In God, I have put my trust. I will not fear what flesh can do unto me. See, I know, like I said, these two things are tantamount. I've never really been afraid of having to go this place or that place. I'd accept to go back to prison. That I ain't trying to do. But I'll go into prison as long as I'm on the opposite fence of that thing. I'll go in there and preach and teach and do what God has for me to do as long as I'm not the other. When the door's open, I can walk out of there. So, you know, I've never been that type of person that's been afraid to step out and do things. That's not the issue, because I never worry about what someone else or what God or what anybody else can do to me or against me. People will always plot and plan, especially when you're doing the right things. They plot and they plan. That's what they do. But God says that he's got you. He says that he'll make a table before your enemies. He tells you all this. So I still don't really have an answer for the girl. I can't tell her why she should trust God. But what I can do is I can show her why she should trust God. I can show her why she should trust God. And I can show you why you need to trust God if you don't wholeheartedly. Some of us kind of do it halfway, and halfway is not good enough. Because what happens with halfway is he's going to keep testing you. He's going to keep testing it. And those tests aren't easy. And they're not fun. And they just aren't. They just are most uncomfortable. So, you know, I went through all of this because, like I said, I had a major decision to make. And under normal circumstances, like I said, I probably would, if I had been in my own mind and stayed in my own head on all this, I would have come to a whole different rationale or a whole different conclusion. But I got to thinking about it. Like I said, nothing makes you qualified more than what God makes you qualified. And the bottom line is this: even if I had gone to seminary school for 20 years and got 5 degrees, and I still, you know what that would have made me? And this is deep right here, Brother Aubrey. You know what that would have made me? All that would have made me is a Pharisee, a modern day Pharisee, because I didn't do what he told me to do when he told me to do it. I decided, oh, well, I need to do this in order to be qualified to do that. And that ain't what he said. That's not what he said. You know, I don't know what's out there for me. I don't. I really don't. And in a lot of ways, that's kind of frightening. But I do know this. I know that he's already shown me time and time again that he's in front of me, and he's behind me, and he's over me. And on this side and on that side, he's there. And I know that already. So for me, it's just a matter of, okay, Brother Freddie, don't call me Freddie though. Yeah, don't do that. But you know already inside your heart and in your mind, and very seldom do the two actually jive. When my mind and my heart, when they both say the same thing, yeah, I know it's the right thing. And so you know who I am and what I am. You know now I need for you to show. Because through you, I can be glorified. Because people will know, you know now the story of what I've been going through these last week or so. You know what that is. So a month from now, 2 months from now, when you reach out and you find out, and I tell you what God has been doing, it won't come as a surprise to you, but then you'll just praise God and give him the glory like you should, like I will. So, this I thought was going to be extremely difficult. I really did, Pastor. I was like, it's been a long time since I've gotten to, it's been a very long time since I have been in front of a pulpit and speaking. It just has been. It's been a long time. But it was something I've always been looking forward to, and I absolutely adore it, and I love it. I do. I loved it when I was in Baltimore. I missed it so much. I've been here for 16 years, and for 16 years, I've been devoid of that. And so when you made that offer, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm with that. So, I'm blessed to be in your presence. I really am. And I am blessed, really, really blessed, to have the opportunity to speak with each and every one of you all the time, anytime. I just want y'all to know how grateful I really am to the Gate Church, to the ministers of the Gate Church, to my family, my Gate family. This does not end here. This is just the beginning. Now, I can't tell you what's down that road, but I know that's the road that I'm going to take, and I know that that's the road that he's going to have me walking on. And whatever lies down there, I know that it's meant for me.